Alright. So, just to give a little bit of recap, I took a break after um, my last attempt, so I decided to start a new attempt playing as the Western Roman Empire on legendary difficulty. Attempt to achieve the legendary general, Caesar Reborn, and Veni Vidi Vici achievements. That means that we have to complete the campaign on legendary difficulty without losing a single battle and by fighting out and winning every single battle. So no auto resolves. Additionally, I didn't abandon any territory. I'm not a big fan of abandoning territory. I don't think it's necessary. Um, for newer players of Attila Total War and the Western Roman Empire on legendary difficulty, it's not a bad strategy because it does make things easier, at least initially. What I've found is that by fighting and holding on to your territory, it puts you in a much better position in the mid to late game. Hold on, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I already have a playlist on my YouTube channel that more or less goes over my strategy for the first 30 turns. I'm going to briefly talk about that because there are some things that I've changed that I want to make sure that you guys are all aware of. So we are on turn 30 currently. Turn 30, and then so fought 120 battles, and we've won 120 battles, and we fought 120 battles personally. Um, Real quick, as you can see, financially we're doing very well. 27,000 gold a turn. We have taxes on normal for the first 20 or so turns. I had taxes turned all the way up just to get that extra income, and we did get as can be expected, a crap ton of rebellions. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a pain in the butt, and almost all of the battles that I fought so far were just fighting the rebel armies. But each one of those battles, if you ransom off the captives, that's depending on the battle for the rebel armies. It's about like 200 to 300 gold per turn, or not per turn, per battle when you ransom off the captives. So, I mean, it added up to thousands and thousands of extra gold. Um, so what I'm going to do here, as you can see, we have control of the British Isles. Um, we've still maintained our presence in Africa, haven't abandoned any territory, and we actually have a trade agreement and defensive alliance with them. I'll go over the diplomacy so we can see what else going on. So we got defensive alliance, military access, and trade agreement. We still have military access and trade agreement with the Eastern Roman Empire. So far, I haven't been pulled into any of their wars, and we're getting a lot of money from them through trade. So I know a lot of people, they say like, oh, as soon as you start off, you need to like break all of your stuff with the Eastern Roman Empire. I don't. I just let it go as long as I can, and then if they get attacked, I just won't join them. I won't come to their defense. But here we still have our trade with them, which is making us a ton of money. We also have trade agreement with them. Trade agreement with these guys. trade agreement with them, which we're going to have to do something about them here at some point, just because they're going to declare war on us. I mean, we're going to have to do something about everybody at some point, but we're just riding it out and seeing how long we can make it last. As far as people we're at war with them, the Izegets, or however you pronounce it. They're almost wiped out. So they only have a couple of units, and they only have one army. The Franks, we're at war with them. They are also almost wiped out, with just a couple units, and we didn't wipe them out. I don't know who did. I'm guessing the Jutes came down and wiped them out for us. The Allens, we're at war with them. We've been at war with them for a while, but they're just kind of hanging out over here. They're not really doing anything. The Gepids, we were at war with them for a long time, and then I ended up paying them like 10,000 gold and getting a peace treaty because they had my settlement here under siege, and they had two armies, and I wasn't confident that I was going to be able to defeat them because it had been under siege for a while. So there had been I was waiting for them to attack, but they never did, and so I was getting to the point where I was going to start taking attrition, and so I was just like, alright, I don't want to try to defend like a completely destroyed settlement because of the morale and the combat penalties. When a settlement's destroyed, you get a like negative, I forget what it is, like 6 or 8 or something like that to melee attack, melee defense. It gets worse the more destroyed the settlement is. So I just threw them a couple thousand gold and got a peace treaty with them, but then just this past turn they attacked me. The Huns, they came down this way, and then they came into here. So I don't really know what they're up to. Whoever was here turn 1, I forget what their name is. We wiped them out turn 1. If you want to see how I did that, check out my previous videos. I show exactly how I do it, as well as for those of you who are maybe new, you didn't see my other videos. If you're like, oh well, how did you win like 100 and something battles against all of those rebel armies with just your garrisons? In my previous videos, I show you exactly how to do that. The only reason I didn't do videos for these first 30 turns is because it's more or less the same as I did last time. So there's really nothing new and interesting that hadn't already been covered. Let's see. So that's that. These guys are wiped out. They ended up declaring war on us like turn 10, and what happened is I had the army that you start off with. It was like down here. I brought them up into the British Isles, sent them up here, and then the army that I think starts off right here, I sent them over here. So what happened is these guys declared war on us, sailed across with 2 armies, attacked here, got wiped out, and then I just sailed across and took that from them. Then I hung out here for a couple turns, recruited some units, and the Picts and the Caledonians, or whatever they're called, were also at war with us. These guys ended up getting a peace treaty with us after attacking here with my army there. It wiped out their army, and they didn't have, or wiped out one of their army. They had another army back here, but they asked for a peace treaty, and I gave it to them because the fewer people that you're fighting, the better, especially in the beginning. And that gave me time to bring these two, this army and the army that was right here, to bring them both up and take this. I consolidated the armies because they were both pretty beat up, because that was a pretty tough siege, and I'm pretty sure I have that in my previous videos, exactly how I do that, where you kind of attack from the side. Then I came down and attacked them here and took that from them. So that's how we secured the British Isles. But just a recap, what I'm doing is I am fortifying this line of settlements all across here. Actually, I'll go to the strategic overview. Alright, so pretty much all along here, to include this area right here, and to a lesser extent this settlement, I'm turning all of this into just a fortress. And we're going to play incredibly defensively. The only reason that I took the British Isles is just so we wouldn't have these three factions attacking us. Because the name of the game, at least until Attila has been killed, is I'm not going to expand anywhere. I'm not going to expand down into here. The only time that I will expand is if these guys declare war on us, then we'll have to attack them just to take them out, to keep them from attacking us. But then we're not going to push further this way. So the name of the game is just hold on to what we have, defend what we have, and wait until Attila is dead. That's my strategy. And then once Attila is dead, and we don't have to deal with the Huns, then we'll start moving our armies out. So some of the things that I did differently is last time I did this, I was building auditoriums because for the public order and for the money. Well, I decided not to this time because you only get 4 more public order and 75 more gold per turn, so it's not that much when you start building auditoriums and theaters and whatnot. But what it does is it increases the Roman paganism in each of your settlements. And the first time I did this, one of the things that I forgot about was, in order to get Caesar Reborn, you have to, where is it? You have to get Divine Triumph. And in order to get Divine Triumph, you have to build the Latin Patriarchal See, which is in Rome. So the first time I tried this, which I didn't make videos of that, the first time I tried this, I converted to Roman paganism. And once I converted to Roman paganism, I wasn't able to build the Latin, the church in Rome. So I wasn't able to get the Divine Triumph victory. And then the last videos that I did, I was explaining, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna build these theaters and stuff like that, because we're gonna convert to Roman paganism. And then somebody in the comment section, or it might have been on one of the Total War Facebook groups, was saying like, hey, you can't do that. And I was like, oh crap, like you're right. So the only building that I have like that is this one, and the only reason that I left it is just for the plus 15 public order. So what I have been building though is these. I'm trying to build governor's estates, and each one of my provinces, as you can see, public order has is more or less stabilized. We're making a good amount of money. Um, Also, this province and this province right here are exempt from paying taxes and exempt from food because I'm building so many of these the garrison quarters, and then I'm going to be upgrading all the towns, and that's just going to be a ton of food. And there's no way that these settlements could produce that much, or these provinces could produce enough food um, to be able to support all those buildings. Um, and then the same goes for over here and here. We should be good because we're building, able to build farms. And one of the other quick notes is that I only do cattle herds. And the reason that I only do cattle herds, and I kind of go over it in my last video, is once the climate changes, if you have farms, so let's just take a look at like a wheat mill, for example. You get 40 food from agriculture. You get 40 food from agriculture, and then 34 additional food per fertility level. However, as the climate changes, the fertility level is going to go down across almost all of your provinces. And so the amount of food that you get like as a baseline from cattle farms is going to be more food. So when the climate changes, you're actually going to get more food from the cattle farms, and you also get more money. So this, you only get 80 plus 80 gold per fertility level. For this, you get 150 gold per fertility level. Now the sheep barns, they're not too bad. So in provinces where we're going to need a lot more food, because you could only build, if I'm not mistaken, you could only build one farm of each type per settlement. So if need be, if we have to build a second farm in a settlement, it'll be the sheep barns. But the main focus is going to be cattle farms, and then also fishing jetties. I'm not going to be using trade jetties. We're going to have like maybe like 1 or 2 military jetties, at least one military jetty to be able to build our fleets. But pretty much everything else is just going to be fishing jetties just for the food. Sanitation is also incredibly important. That's like one of the first things. Before I focus on public order, I focused on making sure sanitation is good across all of the all of my settlements. Because if you get disease outbreaks, it lowers public order, and it also reduces the amount of money that you get. So I wanted to make sure that all of my settlements have positive sanitation. And each of the main provinces, let's find one as an example. I guess this is a good enough example. So in each of the main settlement buildings, for the exception of the ones that we have on our eastern border, these are the three main buildings that I focus on. The reservoir, the governor's estate, which comes from you build the Capitol building, and then the governor's house, and then governor's estate. These are like the ones that every single main settlement that I build for the sanitation, the public order, and then with this, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go the route of the Tabernet, and depending on the food situation, we can build the food emporium, because that gives us 90 additional food, or we can build the slave market if we need more money. So that's kind of a quick recap. The reason that we're still good with these guys down here is because they have gems. And here and here we have the jewelsmith, which you need to have gems in order to get the goldsmith. And we're going this route because it ends up being more money. It's the same amount of squalor and same amount of public order, but you get 500 more gold per turn and that 15% increase in trade. As far as armies are concerned, we really don't have many. We had the 2 armies up here, both of which were disbanded. I had an army down here that I disbanded because we don't need it, but now I'm thinking I might build one over here because I don't know what these guys are going to be doing. We do have an army right here because of these guys, and I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't like them. I don't like them hanging out in our territory. But I'm not going to declare war on them right now because why? If I don't have to, there's really nowhere they can go, and we can just shadow them with this army because they're not. If they attack here, it has walls. They're not going to be able to take it in one turn, and then that at least gives us some time to get some mercenaries and then attack them. Excuse me. Same thing here. It has walls, and then as long as they don't come down this way,
ready for orders.
We'll be good. But we'll cross that bridge if/when we get to it. These guys are just chilling. For the longest time, I was of the mindset like, hey, get everybody out of your territory, which isn't a bad mindset to be in. But one of the things I did differently this time is I'm not gonna sweat it too bad, especially if they're in these territories, and then these guys. Who are they at war with? So these guys, we might wipe them out, just because I think that's the only army in their faction. So that's kind of what I've been doing is if there's only one army and they're in our territory, then I'll wipe them out. Hold on, I gotta pause real quick. All right, I'm back. Oh yeah, so we got some Huns over here, which I'm really hoping that they don't do anything right now, just because I'm not as prepared for them as I want to be. But in order to prepare for the Huns, what I'm doing is I researched these first, and then I went ahead and researched this one to get the governor's estate, then the cattle pens in order to have the option to scale up the food, and now I'm just making a beeline for this to get the fortified towns. So hopefully we can keep the Huns and everybody else, primarily the Huns, at bay for the next 16 turns in order to get the fortified towns here, because once you have fortified towns, like, your garrisons are massive. So you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 units in a bastion onager for that. And then for the veteran garrison quarters, you have 3, 5, 8. So altogether you'll have 16 units behind walls in each of these settlements along the border. So actually these minor settlements are actually better at defending themselves than the main ones, because the main ones you only get, look, 4, 5, 8. You only get 8, and you have no option of building anything garrison, uh, any garrison buildings in the cities. What you can do is you can build the, like, upgrade the rally fields. The infantry compound gives you 2 additional units. The skirmisher compound gives you 2 additional units, and the cavalry compound gives you 2 additional units. So you can get some more units, but I don't like building all of them here. I'm going to have one here, and then probably one down here. The reason being is if you build all of your recruiting buildings here, the Huns are just going to spend all day with this under siege, which is why I'm keeping an army here, because that's essentially my garrison. And if they have this under siege, then you can't recruit anything. So if they're besieging this settlement, I want to be able to recruit units from here and here to be able to send relief forces to attack the Huns if they don't attack me. Because what we want to do is we want to play defensively. We don't want to go out and attack anybody in the field unless we have absolute, like, overwhelming strength. Because I'll be the first to admit, as far as fighting out battles in an open field, I'm not that great. I do much better defending settlements. So that's just how I play. So I'd rather defend a settlement than fight, especially the Huns, who have a lot of cav out in the open field. Because the settlements, they have, you have choke points, you have towers, you have walls, you can build barricades, and you can't really do that out in the open field. So right now I'm not planning on attacking anybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and I'm still making sure that my public order is good. So we have -10 food, but we still have 10 public order. So really, I only upgrade my food. I only try to do it in the spring, because in the springtime they cost 15% less. So this, we're good on public order. This is -2. We're doing okay with food. So the fishing jetties, the reason I like the fishing jetties and stuff is for the food. So this is going to give us, let's see, 20 more food with 1 public order. This is going to give us 50 food with 2 public order. So that's probably what we're going to do, is build this, plus it gets us a little bit more money. This is 240. This gives us 450. Then I could also demolish this, because this is giving us, it's only giving us -1 public order. That's not too bad. How much does, so 225, 750, it's almost 500 more. It's only -1 public order. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to build this, which will give us 4 more public order. Costs 50 food. I'm going to build this, which gives us 50 food. And I'm going to build this, which gives us +2 public order. We'll see how that does. That's looking good. Public order should start increasing next turn with this. Oh, and in case anybody's wondering if I'm actually playing on legendary difficulty, you can see there for the difficulty level is -8 for public order. Oh, and I'm not playing modded. This is strictly vanilla. So the -8 public order is, you know, legendary difficulty. Um, it's gonna be improving public order here pretty soon. Another thing you can do, I don't build up any of my settlements out to the west. I don't increase the city level just because it just costs more food. It's not really necessary. I only do it on my eastern border, and that's just to get the garrisons. Right, that's going to be increasing. That's looking good. And all these, I upgrade all these, like the olive press and all that kind of stuff. These resource buildings, because they give you a bunch of food without any public order penalty. So before you start doing farms, make sure that you upgrade these. Excuse me. This is +1. I've also started building churches just to make sure that, so like right here, Latin Christianity is still going down. So I don't want to have that -3 religious difference. You're going to have some sort of religious difference, but I want to try to mitigate that as much as possible. So 0 food. I'm going to go ahead and start building this, because I guess once this has 2 turns left, then I'll build this. So we don't have to do it right now, but I don't want to be negative food. You don't want any of your provinces to be negative food, because then you get a public order penalty. And then one of you want all of your provinces to have high public order, or good public order, I should say, not just so you don't have to worry about all of the rebellions, but because you actually get you get the growth, and you also get the tax, the +4%, a positive percentage for tax rate when your people are happy. Same thing with wine. You always want to build up the wine. I decided to go this route, going towards the winery versus going towards the fruit dryer. The fruit dryer, you get more food, but the winery, you get more resources and more public order. So with the resources, you get a little bit more for your trade agreements. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. That's doing all right. So we're upgrading the garrison buildings here as well. That's doing pretty good. That's looking good. This is okay for now. We still have that +1 public order. It's not great, but I mean it's not bad either. Worst case scenario, we could afford to drop an army here, and then the military presence will increase the public order as well. But I'm not looking to do that quite yet. We also have our spies, and all they're doing is, I have them deployed investigating corruption. right. I I left this guardhouse here, and I'm probably gonna start upgrading this just on the off chance that any armies sneak by. They're gonna pass this way, and I want to have at least a little bit of a beefier garrison um, to hold out. A garrison this size will will hold out against like a full stack army. Um, it won't be easy, but they can do it. So we're gonna get some more food here soon. For that, we can see 15 public order. What we can do is we can demolish this. We're gonna build this up, and then once this has 3 turns left, we're gonna demolish this, just for the food. Go ahead and upgrade that. Actually, right now we're doing all right for money. And now that we're making good money, my main focus is on securing our border.
Ready for battle. We need good
Just in
fighters.
case. Just in case these guys decide to attack.
Ready for orders.
So we could probably disband these guys, because they're costing us 1,600 a turn, and we're not at war with anybody right here. And this is a easily defended settlement because it's the one that has the bridge that you can just kind of like run across, and then just turn the whole thing into a choke point battle. So this garrison is enough to defend against a almost anything. Like this garrison by itself could probably defeat two full stacks. And in my experience, none of these factions over here will send any more than 2 stacks at you at any given time. But I kind of like having them there, and we can afford them. So I don't really mind. And I might see.
Ready for battle.
I don't want to move them away from here because I want them to be able to come to the aid of these guys. Plus, they just declared war on us again. So they're probably going to attack pretty soon. But I do want to have an army over here. I don't need this yet, because that only takes 2 turns. So I'll go ahead and raise another army over here.
We hunger for battle. Come, fight with us. It is a great and glorious thing to serve your people.
So we have 8.
Ready for orders.
That's all. We'll probably attack them within the next like 2 turns. But yeah, I think that was everything that I wanted to cover in this video. So for Rome, I did deconstruct the church that was here, and then I'm just going to build it again once we have the population surplus. Because I'm in no rush. It's going to take forever to get the Divine Triumph. So as long as we have it built before the end of the campaign, like, we're going to be good. But yeah, so that's pretty much the situation we're in. Food's good, public order's good, making 25,000 gold a turn. So if you have any questions at all, anything that I didn't go over that you want me to go over, please just ask them in the comment section. And then if I don't answer your, I'll try to answer all of your questions in the comment section, or in another video. So if there's anything that you want me to go over in more detail, please just ask me in the comment section, and I'd be happy to go over it. I'm gonna keep this like the same format as the kind of like the last videos, where I'm not gonna bother with the end turn, recording the end turns unless there's a battle, and then I'll just make a separate video for the battle. But yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know any questions that you guys may have. And that is the end of turn 30.